Imagine cursed VHS tapes filming you asleep, a woman's gaze haunting you, or a laundromat where a girl's vibrating eyes trap you in her game, in the tapes that watched me back and the thing inside the machine. An audio tech and a teen face horrors, a presence in a rotting house and a creature posing as a co-worker. These chilling tales turn the everyday into nightmares, pulling you into the dark. Hello everyone, I'm Dusky Nights, and I bring you real-life horror stories that will help you fall asleep. But before we start, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from, and what time is it right now? Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. The laundromat's fluorescent lights buzzed like dying insects, casting a sterile glow over rows of humming machines. I'd taken the job last summer, a quick way to stack some cash before college, spotting the "Help Wanted" sign while shopping with my dad. The owner, a wiry woman with a tired smile, hired me on the spot, but not before introducing me to her daughter, Mia. She was small, almost fragile-looking, with eyes too big for her face and a vibe that set my nerves on edge. "Hey, can you do this?" she asked, her voice bright, before making her eyes vibrate, quivering side to side in a way that wasn't human. Her toothy grin stretched wide, like she'd just shown me the coolest trick in the world. I forced a laugh, chalking it up to her being quirky, maybe a year younger than me, still in her teens. But something about Mia felt off, like a song played in the wrong key. The job was simple: clean lint traps, help customers, keep the place running. Mia worked alongside me, her presence a constant hum of unease. She was juvenile, always trying too hard to be noticed, her giggles echoing through the laundromat like a child's toy left on. I brushed it off, focusing on the paycheck, until a week in, when I caught her hiding inside a tumble dryer. I'd been wiping down machines when a muffled laugh stopped me cold. Peering into the drum, I saw her curled up, knees to her chest, eyes glinting in the dark. "What are you doing?" I snapped, annoyance masking the chill creeping up my spine. "Cleaning," she said, her voice sing-song. But I'd cleared that machine's lint trap hours ago. She slithered out, limbs bending like a contortionist's, drawing stares from customers. I let it slide, but the air felt heavier after that, like the laundromat was watching me. 3 days later, things got worse. I was helping a young mom, her toddler running loose while she fumbled with detergent. She was new to laundromats, her machine at home broken, and I walked her through the settings. Then I heard it, Mia's eerie giggle echoing from the back, joined by a child's laugh. My gut twisted. I knew Mia's reckless energy, how she'd play games with no regard for consequences. "Be right back," I told the mom, weaving through the machines toward the sound. Most were standard 10-key washers, but we had a few 18-key ones and a massive 33-key front loader dubbed the Beast for duvets. It was rarely used, yet there was Mia, half inside its drum, her legs dangling, elbows propped on the rubber seal. The toddler stood in front, giggling as she handed him quarters, pulling faces and doing that vibrating eye trick. "What do I do?" the boy asked, clutching the coins. "Close the door," Mia said, her voice dripping with glee, "and press the big red button." My blood ran cold. She was bribing him to lock her in and start the machine. "Mia!" I shouted, lunging for the door. She pouted like I'd ruined her fun, and the boy looked annoyed, as if I'd interrupted their game. "What were you thinking?" I demanded, heart pounding. "Just a little fun, right, kiddo?" she said, ruffling his hair. He ran back to his mom, who was still loading clothes, oblivious. "Chill," Mia said, sliding out, her movements too fluid, too wrong. "He wasn't gonna do it." I walked away, shaken. I knew kids. My little brother would have done anything for a few bucks. Mia wasn't just quirky. She was dangerous. That evening, her mom emerged from the office, all smiles, asking how we were doing. I wanted to tell her everything. Mia's hiding, the stunt with the kid, but her doting gaze stopped me. She adored Mia, blind to her strangeness. I was new, barely paid, and needed the job. Spilling the truth felt like risking everything, so I swallowed my fear and said nothing. It was a choice I'd regret, one that would haunt me long after I left the laundromat behind. A few nights later, we were closing up, the place empty except for the hum of a lone dryer. I was sorting through the lost and found basket, fishing out a damp sock, when Mia appeared at my shoulder, her breath warm against my neck. "Do you like me?" she asked, her voice soft but piercing. I froze, focusing on the sock. "Yeah, of course," I said, the lie too eager. I needed to keep things smooth until college. "Then why don't you look me in the eye?" she pressed. I turned, meeting her gaze, and found no trace of her usual playfulness. Her face was serious, almost hurt, like I'd betrayed her. "What do you mean?" I stammered. "Do you like me?" she repeated, her eyes boring into mine. "Yes," I croaked. But she whispered, "Liar." Her eyes started that vibrating trick again, rapid and unnatural, and I couldn't look away. It was like they hooked into mine, pulling me into a tunnel where nothing else existed. My legs went numb, disconnected from my brain, yet they moved, following her as she backed toward the rear wall, where the beast loomed. Panic surged, but my body wouldn't obey. "Don't worry," she said, her voice echoing as if from underwater. "It's just a little fun." Her smile returned, predatory now, feeding on my fear. She reached the beast, opened its door, and climbed inside, her limbs twisting in ways that made my skin crawl. Joints bending backward, her head fixed, eyes never leaving mine. It wasn't human. It couldn't be. "Close the door and switch it on," her voice called from the drum's darkness. "Wash, cycle, max spin." My arms moved on their own, shutting the door, programming the cycle. Terror clawed at me, but I was a puppet, my mind screaming while my body obeyed. As my finger hovered over the start button, I clung to one hope. The machine needed coins, and I had none. But when I pressed it, the button clicked, the door locked, and water gushed in. She'd preloaded the quarters. This wasn't a game. She'd planned it all. The drum filled, water rising to her chin, but Mia's eyes stayed locked on mine, unblinking even as the machine spun. Her head didn't move, didn't rotate with the drum like an owl tracking prey. Her pale face filled the glass, those black, vibrating eyes pinning me in place. I stood there frozen for what felt like hours, the floor trembling as the spin cycle roared. The lights flickered, plunging the laundromat into darkness for a split second. In that moment, her eyes vanished, and I blinked, my dry, gritty eyelids finally closing. Control flooded back, my legs wobbling like I'd just woken from a nightmare. Mia's voice called from the drum, "Look at me!" But I covered my eyes, stumbling backward. Her tone turned desperate, almost angry, but I wouldn't fall for it again. My brain felt like static, my body drunk, but I knew one thing. I couldn't free her. Whatever she was, it wasn't Mia, not anymore. If I stopped the machine, I'd unleash something worse. I staggered past her mom's office, praying the door wouldn't open, stifling my sobs. The office stayed shut, and I slipped out into the night, the laundromat's buzz fading behind me. I never went back. At home, I told my parents I quit to focus on studies, a lie they accepted without question. I tried to forget, to bury the memory of Mia's face, but it clung to me like damp cloth. Days ago, I checked the laundromat on Google Maps, hoping for closure. Maybe a closed sign or a review mentioning a creepy girl. Instead, I saw another help wanted sign in the window and a silhouette, a small woman with bleached blonde hair staring out. Was it Mia? Her mom? A customer? I slammed the browser shut, heart racing, unwilling to know. College should have been a fresh start, but the laundromat follows me. I can't use the dorm's washers. Every time I close a machine door, I see her owl-like face, those vibrating eyes waiting in the glass. I hand wash my clothes or buy new ones, draining my savings. The memory of that night festers, a wound that won't heal. I told my story online, hoping it would free me, but it only sharpened the fear. I see her in every shadow, hear her giggle in the hum of appliances. I'm not safe, not from her, not from whatever she was. I need help. A therapist, maybe, or something stronger, to escape the thing that lives in my head, still spinning, still watching. The laundromat wasn't just a job, it was a trap, and Mia was its bait. She wasn't a girl, not really. She was something older, hungrier, hiding in a skin that didn't fit. I don't know if she's still there, waiting for the next hire, the next kid with quarters, but I know she's not gone. She's in the machines, in the hum, in the flicker of lights. And every time I close my eyes, she's there, her face pressed against the glass, calling me to join her in the dark. I started noticing other things after I left, small but wrong. The laundromat's address didn't show up right on maps, like it existed in a glitch. A friend who drove by said the sign was gone, but the place was open, lights on, no one inside. I checked the local paper's archives, hoping for some record, a complaint, a closure notice, but found nothing, like the laundromat didn't exist before I worked there. Yet I know it's real. I can still feel the cold steel of the beast's door under my fingers, hear the water rushing in. Mia's mom never called to ask why I quit, never checked in. That should have been a relief, but it wasn't. It felt like she knew, like she'd always known what Mia was and let it happen. Maybe she was part of it, another face for whatever hid in that place. I don't trust my memories anymore. They twist, sharpening Mia's eyes, stretching her smile. I dream of her climbing out of the beast, her body unfolding like a spider's, limbs too long, head swiveling to find me. In the dreams, she doesn't speak, just points to an open machine, its drums spinning, water rising. I've stopped using public laundromats altogether, but it doesn't help. The hum of machines follows me. Vending machines, microwaves, even my laptop's fan. It's her or something like her, waiting for me to look too long, to let my guard down. I've started checking my dorm room at night, peering into corners, under furniture, half expecting to find her curled up, giggling. I don't sleep much. When I do, I wake up gasping, my hands reaching for a button that isn't there. I looked up hypnosis, trances, anything that could explain what she did to me. Some sites mentioned eye fixation, how rapid movements can disorient, but nothing matched the way her gaze hijacked my body, turned me into a marionette. Other forums talked about things that aren't human, things that wear faces like masks. I don't want to believe that, but I can't unsee her neck, her head unmoving as the drum spun. I can't unhear her voice, calling from the dark, promising fun. I'm scared to tell anyone in person. My roommate thinks I'm just stressed, says college is rough for everyone. But this isn't stress. It's her, or the thing that was her, burrowing into my life. I've thought about going back just to see if the laundromat's still there, to prove it wasn't a dream, but the thought of standing in front of the beast again, of hearing that giggle, stops me cold. I don't know what she wanted, why she needed me to start the machine, why she didn't drown. I don't know if she's still playing her game, luring someone else into her trap. All I know is that I escaped, and she let me, but not completely. She's still holding a piece of me, and I don't know how to get it back. The hum of my audio gear is my sanctuary. Cables, mics, batteries, all predictable, all mine. I work for a small production crew, hauling equipment, keeping the sound clean, staying out of the spotlight. Cameras aren't my thing. I like the shadows, unnoticed but essential. Last month, we filmed at a decaying house on Hawthorne Lane, a dead end swallowed by tangled woods. The place was perfect for B-roll, sagging beams, peeling walls, a staircase crumbling into dust. It was meant to be atmospheric, but the air felt wrong, heavy, like the house was holding its breath. On the second day, I was in the attic, moving insulation to clear space, when I found it. A dusty VCR wedged between beams like a secret someone buried. Beside it, a torn paper bag spilled 6 VHS tapes, their white labels scrawled with dates. 1996 to 99. I should have told the crew, handed them over, or left them to rot, but the weight of the bag, the sour smell of old plastic, felt personal, like the house wanted me to take them. I smuggled them home, rigging the VCR to my bedroom TV with cables I hadn't touched in years. That night, I watched the first tape, and sleep became a stranger. The footage opened on the Hawthorne house, its wallpaper yellowed and peeling like dead skin. A man filmed silently, gliding through rooms until he reached the attic. He turned the camera on himself, standing motionless, eyes unblinking. Then his mouth opened, slow, impossibly wide, the mic crackling as blood trickled from the corners. Something small and dark, maybe a tooth, fell out, and the tape cut to static. My heart pounded, but I couldn't look away. The house's familiar decay, now a stage for something I didn't understand. The second tape was darker, basement footage, the camera shaking, the operator's breath ragged, whispering words too soft to catch. The concrete floor was scarred with deep scratches, like claws had raked through it. A jolt, and a figure flickered at the light's edge, crawling, human but wrong, limbs moving in a jerky mimicry of life. The camera fell, catching a wooden chair for a moment before dissolving into static. My skin prickled, the image of that chair burning into my mind, its plainness somehow worse than the figure. Tape 3 refused to play, emitting a piercing whine that sent my cat, Milo, hissing out of the room. I left it alone, moving to the others over the next few days, each one sinking deeper into my bones. Tape 4 showed robed figures in the woods behind the house, circling a table where a woman lay, her mouth stuffed with dirt. They poured ash over her, one muttering, "Not enough soot, she won't cross." A laugh followed, cold and sharp, like breaking glass. Tape 5 was the basement again, a raw hole dug into the floor. No ladder, just that same wooden chair. Someone dropped a handful of black hair into the hole, whispering, "Take this and forget her face." The words felt like a command, heavy with intent. The 6th tape was the strangest yet. A long windowless room I didn't recognize, bare except for the chair. The woman from the other tape sat there, eyes half open, breathing shallowly, alive but barely. The camera circled, panning to the walls, where faint words were scratched into the paint, almost hidden. Corpus tum memoriam portabit. I didn't know Latin, but I whispered it aloud, the syllables sharp on my tongue, like tasting something forbidden. The room felt alive, the chair a throne for something I couldn't name. I gave tape 3 another shot the next day. This time it played. The footage started mid-sentence. An older man in the attic, his eyes sunken, mouth smeared with something black. "She walks when the tape ends," he said, staring into the lens. He stepped aside, revealing the woman, same as before. No ropes, no dirt, just sitting, smiling faintly. The tape ended, and I swear the attic creaked above me. Though I lived alone, panic hit, and I boxed the tapes, unplugged the VCR, and hid everything in my attic under a tarp, as if that could lock the nightmare away. I avoided the attic for days, plotting how to destroy the tapes, to keep them from whoever might find them next. Last night, I came home from a shoot, exhausted, and found a 7th tape on my hallway floor. No label, just a streak of ash across its case, like it had been dragged through a fire. The time code ran backward, a glitch that made my stomach lurch. I shouldn't have watched it, but I plugged the VCR in, hands shaking. The footage opened outside through branches, the camera fixed on a house. Not Hawthorne, but mine. My driveway, my window, the living room light glowing. It zoomed in, shaky, catching me inside. Same shirt, same mug. My slouched posture painfully familiar. I paused, breath caught, staring at myself on the screen, filmed from the dark. I pressed play. The footage jumped. Inside now, grainy, handheld. In my bedroom, I was asleep, blanket rising with slow breaths. The camera lingered, unblinking, until the screen went black and the tape ejected itself. My hands trembled as I yanked the VCR's plug, the silence deafening. I tried to destroy the tapes, burned one, buried another, locked the rest in a storage bin. But by morning, they were back in the attic, stacked neatly, dust undisturbed, like I'd never touched them. I told myself I'd imagined moving them, but the ash on my fingers said otherwise. The house on Hawthorne Lane wasn't just a set. It was a wound, bleeding something that followed me home. The tapes weren't recordings. They were invitations or warnings, each one peeling back a layer of something I wasn't meant to see. I keep thinking about the woman, her half-lidded eyes, her dirt-filled mouth, the way she smiled when the tape ended, and that phrase, corpus tuum memoriam portabit. I looked it up, hands shaking, and found it means your body will carry the memory. It feels like a curse, like I've been marked by saying it aloud, by watching what I shouldn't have. I'm terrified to sleep. Every creak, every shadow feels like her, like she's waiting for me to close my eyes so she can step out of the tapes. I've started checking my windows, locking doors twice, but it doesn't help. The 7th tape showed me I'm not safe, that whatever's in those tapes knows where I live, knows how I heave. I've stopped going to the attic, but I hear noises up there, scratches, soft thumps, like something's pacing. Milo won't come near my room anymore, hissing at the ceiling when he passes. I tried talking to the crew, but they laughed it off, saying I'm stressed, that old houses mess with your head. I didn't tell them about the tapes. They'd think I stole them. Or worse, they'd want to watch. I've thought about going back to Hawthorne to see if the VCR's still there, to find some clue about what I've unleashed. But the thought of stepping into that house again, of standing where the woman sat, makes my chest tight. I've searched online for the phrase, the dates, anything about the house, but it's like it doesn't exist. No records, no history, just a void where answers should be. The tapes are changing me. I don't eat much. Food tastes like ash. I see her in my dreams, sitting in that chair, her mouth opening wider each time, spilling dirt, hair, teeth. Last night, I woke up with my hands in my mouth, like I was trying to pull something out. I'm scared there'll be an 8th tape soon, waiting when I wake, showing something worse. Me, not sleeping, but moving, doing things I don't remember. I don't know if I watched them wrong, if rewinding broke some rule, or if saying those words invited her in. All I know is she's close, and the tapes aren't done with me. I've started recording myself at night, setting up my phone to catch any movement. I haven't watched the footage yet. I'm too afraid of what I'll see. But I hear things in the dark. Whispers, not words, just sounds that mimic speech. The VCR is still in the attic, and sometimes I think I hear it whirring like it's playing on its own. I've thought about smashing it, but what if that frees her? What if she's not on the tapes anymore, but here, in my house, in me? I don't know what she wants, or what the tapes are for. Were they meant to be found or hidden forever? Did I break something by taking them, by speaking her words? I feel her memory in my body, like the tapes promised, a weight that grows heavier each day. I'm not sure how much longer I can stay awake, how much longer I can keep her out. If there's an 8th tape, I don't know if I'll watch it or if I'll have a choice. All I know is the house on Hawthorne Lane gave me something I can't give back. And it's watching me, waiting for me to break. Do you have a terrifying tale that claws at your soul, like the eerie VHS tapes that haunt Hawthorne Lane, or the sinister games played inside a laundromat's machines? I'm seeking the most unsettling horror stories for my upcoming collection, and I want yours, from supernatural dread to psychological terror. Send your chilling narrative to duskynights145@gmail.com, and let's unleash your fear into the world. Don't wait, the darkness is calling.